This is my prediction video for the Canelo Alvarez versus Austin Trout. I think this is going to be a good competitive fight. As for the fighters, I'm going to start with Alvarez. I like Alvarez. He is a young, very athletic fighter. He's very heavy-handed. He can do a lot of damage with his punches. He's got pretty good speed, and what I like about him is he has a lot of patience, which is very unusual to see in a young fighter, because normally that's something you would see in a more experienced, older fighter. But he's very patient. You know, he doesn't fight recklessly, and he doesn't waste his punches. My main problem with Alvarez is that he really hasn't tested himself against good competition. I mean, let's look back to 3 of his previous fights. Let's see. Didn't he fight? I think he fought Matthew Hatton, which is the brother of Ricky Hatton. And, you know, that victory didn't really seem all that impressive. I mean, because I had never even heard of Matthew Hatton before he fought Canelo Alvarez. Then you had Shane Mosley, who, yeah, he was a former champion, but, you know, Shane Mosley was old, you know, past his prime, way past his prime. And Josecito Lopez, I got to give credit to Lopez for taking the challenge, you know, jumping up 2 weight classes. That takes a lot of guts to do that, but it doesn't make the winner of the fight look good, because Canelo Alvarez was just fighting a naturally smaller guy. So that just took away from Canelo's victory. It just wasn't that impressive. I mean, anybody could beat somebody who's naturally smaller and weaker than them. So, but like I said, I like Alvarez, but he just hasn't really tested himself. He hasn't really fought good competition yet. And as for Austin Trout, I really don't know that much about him. The only time I've seen him fight was against Miguel Cotto. But I will say this. I think that Austin Trout's victory over Cotto was more impressive than those 3 victories I just talked about with Canelo Alvarez, because Miguel Cotto is a pretty good boxer, and Cotto has tested himself against a lot of good fighters over the years. You know, some people say he's damaged goods. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, because he has taken a beating over the years. But he does have good boxing skill, and he'll be a good challenge to just about anybody in his weight division. And like I said, I think that Trout's victory over Cotto was more impressive than Alvarez's victories over Matthew Hatton, Shane Mosley, and Josecito Lopez. Now, as for who's going to win this fight, man, that's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think Alvarez might just pull it out, but just barely. I think Alvarez will win by decision, but it'll probably be a split decision. And the only reason I'm going for Alvarez is just because I've seen more of his fights. I haven't seen enough of Austin Trout, so it's kind of hard for me to figure out how well he's going to do in this fight. But anything could happen, though. If Alvarez can get a victory over Trout, this would definitely be Canelo Alvarez's most impressive victory so far, because Austin Trout is an undefeated fighter, and you know, he's pretty young too. I don't actually know how old he is, but I think he's probably a little bit older than Canelo. But you know, I think Austin Trout is probably fighting in his prime. It'll be Alvarez's most impressive victory if Alvarez can win, but it's not going to be an easy win. Canelo's going to really have to work for this victory. So I have Canelo Alvarez by split decision.